You found the Backup Wrap-Up, your go-to podcast for all things backup, recovery, and cyber recovery. In this episode, we break down another wild Mr. Robot episode that's packed with lessons in cybersecurity situational awareness. We'll talk about USB stick attacks, Bluetooth hacking, and why that officer really should have checked his six. We look at how Elliot bypassed prison security systems and what real-world defenses, I think, would have stopped these attacks. It's a fun episode with practical cybersecurity lessons that you can apply today. Real cyber lessons from a fictional show, go figure. Well, if you don't know who I am, I'm W. Curtis Preston, aka Mr. Backup. And I've been passionate about backup and recovery for over 30 years, ever since I had to tell my boss there were no backups of that production database that we just lost. I don't want that to happen to you, and that's why I do this. On this show, we turn unappreciated admins into cyber recovery heroes. This is the Backup Wrap-Up. Welcome to the show. Hi, I'm W. Curtis Preston, aka Mr. Backup, and I have with me a guy who will not join me on my morning trash pickups, Prasanna Malaiyandi. How's it going, Prasanna?
I'm good, Curtis. Yeah, you're, yeah. No, I'm not going on your trash pickups. Although I have to say, I don't think I have as much trash in my neighborhood as you seem to be having.
I don't know. So I've been taking a morning walk, and then I decided I got tired of seeing how much trash that I see along the thing. And at first it was like, this is just a little bit. And so I was like, I'm going to bring a little garbage bag along with me and try to pick it up. And that I ended up bringing back 3 pounds of trash from my first walk. And I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah.
But then this morning I went a different route, and I'm like, oh my God. I would have to bring a 5-gallon bucket.
Well, yeah, I think you should also comment on what you did yesterday on your walk and what you took with you.
I have a battery-operated leaf blower. If you have a leaf blower, they're designed also to be leaf suckers, right? Mm-hmm. And so they have a bag. Essentially, it's like a vacuum. And so my initial idea was that I wouldn't actually be picking up trash. There's lots of little pieces of trash, and I would just suck it up with the leaf blower into the little leaf bag. That did not work.
So you're basically walking around with a leaf blower strapped to your back, just walking down the street.
Just walking down the street with a leaf blower, wondering what people were thinking of this random gray-haired dude walking down the street with a leaf blower.
I just want to say thank you for actually doing, like going and actually picking up trash, because I know a lot of people would just be like, screw it, it's not my problem, not my circus, not my monkey, not my monkey, not my circus.
We'll see. Like, I will say it was a very nice feeling. The problem with the leaf blower is that it's made, or the leaf sucker, is that it's made to actually shred the leaves, the way that the impeller, the leaves go through the impeller and they get chopped up. And so what happens is when you suck up, let's say, I don't know, a ketchup packet, it just jams.
Yeah.
If it makes it through, it doesn't get shredded. And so what I found when I actually took the bag off was that all of the little trash was all jammed up in the
impeller.
The little tube right past the impeller.
Gotcha.
So that idea was just a bust. It was just me walking around with a, I don't know, 10 pound device.
So I think what you should do instead is you should walk with the vacuum cleaner, which you then plug into your vehicle to then operate, and have someone drive alongside you as you're walking.
What if I turn on FSD and have the car, robo-taxing me?
I wonder if you... No, I don't think that the...
It won't work.
I think I know how you do it. It's not FSD. Okay, you could do FSD, but you basically place a heavy weight in the passenger seat, or in the driver's seat, so it thinks someone's there. And then you keep something in front of the sensor, so it thinks there's always someone in front of it. And then as you move, it moves along with you.
I think it's a little smarter than that, but
I don't think so.
I think you're a little insane. Speaking of a little insane, this episode was insane.
Was it really? It was,
well,
actually.
Yeah, it was, right? And this is episode 6, aka 1.5, and I don't know if this continues in season 2, if the whole numbering thing continues.
And it's called Brave Traveler.
Right, Brave Traveler, which comes from Vera. So Vera is the drug dealer that he got put in prison. He figured out that Elliot's the one that put him in prison, and he calls him and says, "Hey, you need to break me out." And today,
Yeah.
right, he has kidnapped Shayla, and he says, you need to break me out today, or else I'll kill Shayla. And Elliot tries to tell him, "Hey, you can't. I can't do that. Right? Yeah. That's not. That's a surefire way to have an unsuccessful attack, which is to not do any recon. Right? We've talked about recon before, and he's like, you want me to just do that?" But he does figure out that there is, an electronic system that will open the doors, and he just needs to get in the network, and so he does this USB stick thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. And that doesn't work. And then he gets, he tries to hack through the Wi-Fi, and he actually does end up successfully hacking the Wi-Fi of a cop car, getting into the network, and then letting...
Well, it wasn't Wi-Fi of the car.
It was Bluetooth.
Yeah, he basically
Bluetooth,
hacked the Bluetooth of the computer in the car, and then realized, hey, you're connected to the prison network over 4G. So
yeah,
you are the weakest link.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, sex works. He uses Darlene, dressed kind of alluringly to distract the cop.
Yep.
while he's gonna control his computer, and that works because guys are stupid. So he hacks the cop's car via Bluetooth, gets into the thing, and he does successfully bust Vera out of prison. Mm-hmm. After which he does get Shayla back.
Dun dun dun! Not the way he was expecting.
Right. He did get Shayla back like they promised, but she was DED. As my daughter likes to say, DED, Dad. She was, shot in the head, it looked like. That did not look good.
Yeah.
So
and it was also so cruel.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, and it was also like when Vera gets out of prison, right? He's like, yeah, she's been with you this entire time, man. You just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh my gosh. And then the way that they also shot the scene. Sorry, this has nothing to do with cybersecurity or anything else like that. Yeah. But just the way they shot the scene, right? Where it's like he goes, he opens the trunk opens. They don't show the body or anything. He takes a step back.
Reaction.
Yeah, you see his reaction. And in the beginning, he doesn't make any noise. Right? He doesn't say anything. He doesn't yell. He doesn't scream. He doesn't even sniffle or cry. Right? He's sort of like catatonic. Yeah. And then you look at him, and then he just like looks down at the body, and then they pan over his shoulder, and you just see her covered in blood, and then and then he runs because the cops are coming.
Right.
Because it's a prison break.
The length of time that they stand around BSing before
I was surprised.
Hopping into the getaway car I was like, I think you just broke out of prison. I think maybe you should get in the getaway car now, but anyway.
It's a TV show, Curtis.
It's a TV show.
Creative liberties, I think is what they say.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the mechanisms that they used, more exploits. And the first one that I don't know, if I had seen this in real life, I'd have been like, hey, lady, what are you doing? Number one. Number two, why are there all these USB sticks around here?
So to recap, right? So Darlene is walking outside a police station, and she's walking in the parking lot, and she just has like a pocket full, like probably like 50 or 100 USB sticks. And every once in a while, every few steps, she just like takes it and dumps out like 3. And she's just walking along, and you just see all these USB sticks on the road. There are cops coming in and out of the station. There are kids playing like not too far away.
Right.
Nothing.
And no one is going, why is this lady dumping all her USBs?
Yeah.
Hey, I think he dropped some. Nobody says that. But.
Well, and then, so then you move on, and then she's like, she goes away, and then you see a scene where a cop comes up, and he's like, oh, a USB stick, and he picks it up. But I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm like, yeah, there's a USB stick. There's another USB stick. There's another USB stick. There's like 100 on the parking lot, right? It's like...
She wasn't very subtle in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, shouldn't you know something's up when you see like 100 USB sticks just lying there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what does a cop do?
He puts it in the computer like a maroon, right? Puts it in the computer and runs it, executes what's on the USB stick.
Do you remember what was on it?
It was like a game.
You know, like it was a click this to get a $10 or $100 gift card.
Yeah.
And it was like answer these 5 questions. So it was like, what's your favorite music type and all the rest, and then as it's running, as he's going through this, what happens? The
intrusion detection system actually detects that he had inserted malware.
Did you see what virus scanner it was?
No, I didn't.
It was Avast.
Oh, was it?
Okay. Yeah, running on Windows.
Gotcha. And it noticed that it was, that it was malware, and so of course the guy's like crap, and he realizes that he screwed up.
And what does he do though? Did you see what he did? Do you remember? So
no, I don't.
Yeah, so he realizes, he's like crap, and then he pulls the USB stick, and then he goes and pulls the power cord.
Oh, he pulls the power, yeah. Well, that's it's effective, I suppose.
Yeah. But you have a story around this.
I do?
About a USB stick that contains malware that was handed out at a conference.
Yeah. I've seen this where I was. There've been studies where they drop these USB sticks and people will just do this, right? And I've seen that. The one where I experienced was different than that. I was at a semantic conference. It happened to be the semantic when it was net backup, right? It was the semantic vision, and it was the conference immediately after Semantic acquiring Veritas, and they had distributed some stuff, that they wanted you to have for the conference, and they distributed via this USB stick, and the next morning we got, they told us in the session, please don't put the USB stick in. There's malware on it.
Yeah.
Right. Which is that right there is ironic, right? Unlike Alanis Morissette, I actually know what the word ironic means. It doesn't mean coincidence. Anyway, isn't it ironic? No, actually, it isn't, Alanis. That just sucks.
But this happened, and I think though, when USB sticks first came out, right? Like you said, at conferences, like you'd walk around, it's a freebies that people would give out because everyone was like, "Oh, USB sticks, they're so awesome, they're so amazing."
Right.
And then malicious people realized that is a great way to send things out, because most laptops, right, at the time, you insert a USB stick, it auto runs whatever is on there. Right? Yeah. It doesn't even let you to be like, hey, are you sure you want to open this or do anything else?
Right. Yeah, do you trust what's on this USB stick?
Autorun.inf, if you remember Windows. Showing my age, Curtis, showing my age.
Yeah. I was watching a comedy routine this morning, and the guy was talking about how the phones used to have, minutes and and a limited number of text messages. Yeah, the same thing here. So obviously that is not good, right? And so we can talk about what can you do to prevent that. You can disable that
Yep.
in, like, if you're in a corporate network, you can disable the use of USB ports.
Before we move on, though, sorry.
Yeah.
I actually want to give credit to the cop, though, because he did not click the button that said ignore on the malware detection, right?
I'm not going to give him much credit.
But at least he did that, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. There is things you could do, like make sure that it's not auto running, make sure you know where the USB stick came from.
Right.
If you have a USB stick that is also your personal, also be careful if you're taking it and plugging it into like some other person's computer, because now your USB stick may be infected that you own. So it's not necessarily about finding a USB stick. Just be careful where you're plugging these USB sticks into.
Well, I guess I'm saying from a corporate perspective, you can disable these features. You can disable the USB port altogether. It's unlikely you're going to do that on laptops.
I've been at companies where they disable USB.
I'm just saying unlikely. I'm sure it happens, right? There are some companies that truly take their cybersecurity seriously, and they're like, but I wonder at those companies where they do that, do they also disallow BYOD?
So from the places that I've worked where they've done that, they don't disallow BYOD, but they do require...
Bring your own device in case people don't know that.
Yeah. But it would basically be blocked from accessing pretty much anything on the corporate network.
Okay. So all right.
It's basically
so they give them
you'll
Wi-Fi
get
to access the internet, but not to be able to access. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen places that disable all USB ports, even on laptops, or especially on laptops.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that you should at least think about. If you're not thinking about that, that would have stopped this, right?
I do wonder if they have the capability to just disable peripherals versus things like a monitor. Or,
I think it's in the BIOS to disable basically USB port.
No. Because, like, what if you need to use a monitor for work and the company disables USB-C?
Oh,
does that
USB-C
disable
monitor?
Yeah.
It's a good question, right?
I think it does allow you to differentiate between displays, but then you have to also worry about, a display, is it also have a USB hub built into it? And now what happens with that and all the rest? So,
yeah. Time to look into that. All right. So, let's see. We talked about, the USB stick hack didn't work because the malware was actually caught. Good job on the police station. What?
Do you remember what Elliot... So Elliot had asked Darlene to go drop the USB sticks, right? And she had also created the package, the malware package.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then when it fails, because Elliot sees that someone had plugged in, he's like, and then he starts to execute stuff. And then basically he's not able to get it to fully run, and so he doesn't get his foothold in.
That's when it got detected, right?
Yep.
And so Elliot was, I never took you for a script kiddie, which is the term I haven't heard in a while.
I laughed at that. Do you want to explain what a script kiddie is?
Yeah, so this is basically somebody who's downloading and using other people's code, which interestingly enough has been escalated to like ransomware as a service, right? Because a true hacker, as depicted in the show, a true hacker would write their own malicious code.
Ooh,
right? Which would not be as detectable because there's not an established,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Today with AI, are all developers script kiddies?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a good question. And also I wonder, is there malicious AI? Because like a lot of the AIs that are out there, they have morals
or safety checks.
It's like they act. So like I've tried to do things, not hack computers, but I've tried to get some LLMs to do something for me before, and it's like, and it's literally said, I don't think you should be doing that, right? And I'm like, hello, right? I just remember, like, I wasn't trying. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember me having an argument with an LLM going, what? Do what I tell you, and it was like, no, I won't do that. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go use another LLM.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing, right? It's all these companies, right? The AI companies that build safety models, right?
Yeah.
So making sure you're not able to do things like make chemical weapons or things like that.
Malicious code, I guess, is what I'm suggesting. I don't know but I'm assuming there's also bad LLMs, right?
Yeah.
That are able to do, literally whatever you want.
Elliot gets this epiphany as he's talking to Mr. Robot in his stairwell. And by the way, the bad guys are keeping Elliot hostage, and there's two guys around him all the time.
Right.
And
well, by this point, Darlene has been taken hostage.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because
exactly.
she came in to tell him what happened, and she got taken hostage. So now they have Darlene and Shayla.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Robot's like, oh, yeah, you should go to the source. So he basically decides, hey, I'm going to go to the prison and I'm going to go visit Vera. And by the way, when I'm there, and he tells him this, right? He's like, I came to talk to you. And Vera's so surprised. He's like, what are you doing here? Your face is on camera. He's like, it doesn't matter. I needed to drop my cell phone off in the security place, right? Because you're not allowed to take cell phones into the prison.
Right.
And he's like, my phone is looking for Wi-Fi networks.
Right.
To figure out. And he tells him, he's like, and you need to keep talking with me because my program needs time to run.
Right. Yeah. And what happens with that? Is that how he detects the
cop car? No. So what happens is, so he ends up having this conversation with Vera. This is where Vera says, okay, you need to come out. You need to break me out tonight. And then as he's leaving the police station, he looks at his phone to see, okay, what did my app find? And he realizes that it found a bunch of Wi-Fi networks, but they were all WPA2 encrypted. And he's like, that would take me days to crack, which is what Wi-Fi WPA2 is for Wi-Fi, right? It's all wireless, right? You're not physically connected. And so technically, if you didn't have any sort of encryption, anyone could sit there and listen in over the air and just like download. It's just like how you get radio stations, right?
Right.
Anyone can listen to it, right? But with encryption, right, WPA is sort of one type of encryption. There are different versions of it, WPA 1, 2, and 3. WPA 2 was what was available at the time the show was made. And so it allows for your device and the access point you're connected to negotiate sort of an encryption key such that all of your traffic is encrypted and no one else listening in over the air will be able to decrypt your traffic.
And he's like, I could do this if I have time, but I don't have, because he's saying it's got to, so he needs to.
Yeah. And I was looking it up, I was trying to find out, but WPA2 actually has flaws that allow attackers to crack your Wi-Fi password pretty quickly.
Okay.
Which is why they've released WPA3. I think it's been out for 4 years, 5 years as a standard, which is more secure than WPA2 and eliminates a lot of the security vulnerabilities.
So I guess that's an action item for people is to look into upgrading to WPA3 if that's available on your device.
But the problem is WPA3, if you want to use it, you have to enable it on your Wi-Fi router or your access point, which means all of your client devices need to support WPA3. So if you have old devices like old iPads or laptops or a lot of IoT devices, they don't support WPA3.
Right.
So even if you wanted to, you may not be able to. Now, some do support the mechanism of sort of WPA2 or 3. So it can negotiate between the two, but it's not as secure.
Yeah. Sort of like with the 2.4 and the 5.
Yeah.
Right. And so, once again, it's like upgrade it where you can. Right. And I mean, I still have devices in my house that only do 2.4.
Yeah.
Right.
I still have Wi-Fi 3 devices.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I have my sous vide. My sous vide only does 2.4.
Yeah.
And it's a new device. Yeah.
No. By Wi-Fi 3, I mean like 54 megabit per second, fastest speed possible.
Wow. That's some old stuff right there.
Yes, it's my printer.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah. What's a printer? Anyway, all right. So he goes with option number 3, right? So the first thing failed, second thing failed. He goes with option number 3, which is he realizes that the police cars are connected to the network via 4G, and he can connect to the car via Bluetooth.
Yep.
And this is where he relies on a time-tested method, and that is sex and stupid boys.
Yes.
Right? So he gets...
Or sex appeal, if you will.
Sex appeal, yeah. Well, I guess not sex, right? But sex appeal, yeah. So he gets Darlene to, sort of, she drops her thing, down the shoulder, and she goes over and, hey, how are you, right? And the stupid cop, because boys are stupid. The stupid cop is like, oh, hello, how are you? Just, like he, this is what I would call bad situational awareness, right? He needs to understand, and I'm surely he's taught this, not just from a cybersecurity perspective, but from a life's perspective.
If things
he's
seem
a
too
police
good,
officer, bad things, can happen, and that they can literally bring up. I mean, I watched I've watched all of Alias, right? 75% of the plots of Alias are Jennifer Garner looking amazing, trying to distract somebody, right? And that happens, that I know that happens all over the place, right? But you'd think that a police officer would be trained better than to, for some situational awareness, that if some girl just comes up and approaches you and leans in and starts hitting on you, maybe you should just, check your six.
Yeah.
Right?
But it also might be that maybe he did look around the car because he thought, like, as a cop, right? He was like, oh, yeah, maybe other people might be approaching me. But he's not necessarily looking at his computer screen.
I don't know. Well, it's his job to look at the computer screen, right?
No, I don't know.
Isn't that part of his job?
Not all
I
the
don't mean
time.
in terms of supervising, and I'm just saying.
But not all the time. When he needs to, he will look at his computer.
Well, and this time he didn't look at it none of the time.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at Darlene the whole time.
Yeah. And so, by the way, so just for people, so the cop is sitting in the driver's seat. Darlene is at his window on his left, and his computer screen is on his right.
Yeah. And she has all his attention because that scene lasted a minute or so.
2 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and he's over there like hacking away, and the guy, and he's, Elliot is taking control of his computer.
Yep.
And if he just looks over there for like a second, he would see, and he does towards the end. Towards the end, he's like, oh, and his reaction is, oh, my computer's on the fritz. Yep. Not, why is there a command and control window up in front of my... I mean, I get that, like, the average person probably doesn't understand what that would mean. But yeah, so he does successfully, and there was that Elliot does have a moment where he allows them to free Darlene.
Yep.
Because he's like, I just need to press go, but I'm not going to press go until you drive away and let Darlene go.
Yep.
Right. So he does that, and we do later find out that it's a good thing he did that because,
Yeah.
Shayla.
So here's one thing I want to know, right, is if you were the prison network or whatever else, right, the cops, why would you allow a cop car, which is probably not very secure, unfettered access to your prison network?
Well, the answer would be video download.
No, but even then, it should be a very specific...
Yes.
Right.
It should
use
be a
case.
very specific
Things should
use
be locked
case,
down.
a very specific port and a system. You're allowed to, do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Because literally the fact is, Elliot FTP'd something to the cop car, and then from the cop car, he FTP'd that or migrated that to the prison network.
Right. Which then gave him control of the prison network. It's a very good point, right? I was also going to add Bluetooth security, right? Because that does exist. It exists in most anything, and you have to if you're going to control a device with Bluetooth, it's like, when you first pair something, it's going to pop up a number. It should pop up a number, and you need to look at the screen and tell the number, which in any scenario would have stopped this attack. If you use a standard Bluetooth security, it would have popped up a number on the screen of the cop car, and he would not have been able to see the number unless he employed Darlene to go to say the number out loud or something.
Yeah. Well, I think that works in some scenarios, Curtis, but I don't think in all. For instance, my keyboard has a little Bluetooth dongle.
Right.
Right. I plug it in. It doesn't ask me for anything.
No, it doesn't, but I'm saying it could.
It could, yes.
Right. And in this scenario, you would think that the Bluetooth that is capable of controlling the car would have that as a feature.
Or the other thing is, do they even need Bluetooth?
Yeah,
right. If you don't need it, just turn it off.
Why does it need Bluetooth? Right?
Yeah.
Is it what exactly? Well, is like maybe is his camera the body cam?
I don't think they had body cams back then.
No, they didn't. They had Bluetooth because that's what the plot needed. Okay,
the cop wanted to listen to his music on the stereo.
Yeah, with his Bluetooth, with his AirPods. Back then, because there's actually AirPods.
Yeah,
probably AirPods, but the Bluetooth headsets did.
Yeah,
there's actually one in the episode. I remember when Angela goes to visit Terry Colby, the son turns his head, and he's got one of those black.
I had those.
Yeah, I had one of those too. You look like such a idiot. I think back when you wore those. I don't know. You just seem like whatever.
So I loved the Bluetooth headsets, especially on calls.
You mean back then? Now?
Yeah, both actually.
Yeah. I as well, but I don't know. They were just so big. They just I don't know. So something. I think when they first came out, they looked kind of I don't know. But
I enjoyed them. I still like them. I actually still have a Bluetooth headset.
I had one of the Plantronics ones that went around the ear, and
I still have them
over here. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Why do you still have it?
Well, it's not broken.
You know what I remember? I remember I had a Plantronics desktop Bluetooth for my phone. Okay, because I had a desk phone.
Yeah.
Right. And what I remember was I would forget that I was on a desk call.
Oh, and
I had my Bluetooth headset, and I would get in my car and drive away. And then at some point, the thing would drop, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
So I still use a over-the-ear headset for my calls.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I find it more comfy. And the audio quality is better. And then I also like the fact that it comes with the mic that you can actually flip up to know for sure that something is muted.
Okay.
Because I never can remember, is it muted or is it not? And
it mutes when you flip the mic up. Gotcha. All right, one funny story, and then we'll put this episode to bed. 100 years ago, I was working at a consulting company, and we used to live in corporate housing, and there were like 3 of us that were in this corporate housing. This story takes place in Marina del Rey, for those of you that are familiar with that, in the Oakwood corporate housing. And we were all sitting around. We had a speakerphone. We were all sitting around on the mandatory Monday morning conference call.
Mm-hmm.
And our direct boss was blabbering on. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I reached over, pressed the mute button, and I said, "What are you still talking? Why are you still talking?" But I muted, and then I was like, I exclaimed something. And then there was a pause, and it was like, what did you say? I go, and that's when we learned, and we found out later that the mute button didn't work on the speaker.
Oh no.
The little light would come on,
But
it didn't. But it didn't actually mute the call. And
Oh, no.
So luckily there were several of us, and this was because nowadays with like Zoom, it would be like Curtis just
You did this.
blurb something
Yeah.
else. Your picture would pop up on the screen. But at least in this case, just some random, and I said it really. What are you talking about? And I was like, what was that? And I was like. And this is how Curtis almost got fired. Anyway.
The 10th time.
Yeah. I've only been fired like 3 times in my life all when I was younger.
So,
all
right. So what's the recap for this episode?
So again, continued security, right? So obviously devices or USB devices, bad, right? Trusting USB ports, bad. Trusting, even the fact that like if you're truly concerned about like cell phone security, put that cell phone in a Faraday bag, right? That's a thing.
What's a Faraday bag for people?
A Faraday bag comes from the idea of the Faraday cage, which comes from the name of the guy. And basically, you put the cell phone in a Faraday bag, it's unable to communicate outside that bag. I've been in facilities where you had to leave your phone and you had to put it in a Faraday bag.
In schools, they make you do that too for kids.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. They make you put it in a bag so you can't communicate outside. And then I think it has like a lock that only opens at certain times.
Interesting. And then if you have an external device, in this case a police car that has network access, that device should be very limited.
Yeah.
Right? It should be for the very specific use case, a very specific port and device.
Or you should at least be monitoring to be like, hey, why is it uploading files to an FTP server internally when that should never be happening?
Yeah. I would say yes, and I would say and you should be monitoring, but and then, and if you get offered something enticing, check your sex.
Yeah. Or just think about if it's too good to be true. It's like, hey, why don't you, CISO, come out to this great resort? We're doing this giant conference, and we'll talk to you about things, and it's all going to be lavish. And you've never heard of the place?
Yeah.
Yeah. You might want to.
I actually watched an exploit with that where basically they wanted to exploit a person. They sent him an invitation to be a speaker at their show, right? They had a full trade show website and everything, and they said, we'd like you to speak at this show. And then they totally lost my train of thought. Oh, and so they said, we'd like to just have a quick Zoom call prior to the show to just make sure, set expectations and everything. Like I said, sure. And so they sent him a link. That link was not a Zoom link, right? That link was a malicious link that immediately downloaded the malware and then opened up Zoom. So it could have been stopped by, and so basically what you're counting on is the person being distracted because their pride, etc. They're just thinking about, I'm gonna, and they had like a speaker's fee. They were gonna pay a speaker's fee, and so boom, 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 and the guy clicks on the thing, and the exploit runs in like, milliseconds, and then he opens up Zoom, and so you never thought anything of it, right? And then immediately they're controlling the guy's network.
Yeah. People are the weakest link.
They are. They will continue to be that way. All right. Well, thanks, Prasanna, for having another chat.
No, this was good. I'm going to go hunt around for some random USB sticks on my next walk. So, have you encountered a USB stick on your walk yet?
No.
Okay.
I have encountered USB sticks in the wild, but not on any of my walks.
Okay.
I have encountered really weird stuff. My favorite thing that I picked up yesterday was the instruction manual for some sort of electronic device. I was like, a lot of the stuff I understood, like it was like, Slim Jim wrappers and, things like that. Like it's somebody bought a snack at the 7-Eleven. They want to throw it out the window before they get home and get busted for having a Slim Jim. But why was there? I don't know. I don't know that. But anyway, I'm going to drive around and, hope that some young girl leans in the window and talks to me.
Oh, Curtis.
But if she does, I will check my 6.
Yes.
Anyway, well, thanks for listening, everybody. That is a wrap. The Backup Wrap-Up is written, recorded, and produced by me, W. Curtis Preston. If you need backup or DR consulting, content generation, or expert witness work, check out backupcentral.com. You can also find links for my O'Reilly books on the same website. Remember, this is an independent podcast, and any opinions that you hear are those of the speaker and not necessarily an employer. Thanks for listening.